everybody, welcome to episode 27 of the Brownie Knits podcast. I'm your host Gina, aka Brownie Knits. Welcome to the podcast. If you haven't watched us before, welcome. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. In this episode, it is one of our episodes for the Brownie Knits 2015 block blanket along. So we'll talk a little bit about block 10 and then we'll move on into other crafty fun things. Normally, I would record this episode and then upload it for posting the next day. But this time I'm recording this episode a little bit in advance because in the next couple weeks I'm going to be super busy. During the week when I normally would record for the block episode and post it up, I'm actually going to be hosting my 5-year-old nephew, and I just really didn't see grabbing the time to record and edit and do all of that. So I thought I'd go ahead and make sure that I did it ahead of time, and then we're going to have some exciting adventures going on. So I just wanted to make sure that I got stuff out for you guys. So I'm going to go through block 10 first, so that if you are participating in our year-long knit along, you can grab the free block patterns in Ravelry under Brownie Knits 2015 block blanket along. Our hashtag that you can share on Instagram and Ravelry is hashtag BK blanket along. It's never too late to join. The patterns will be up in Ravelry and on BrownieKnits.com for free until the end of January 2016, and then they'll be for purchase for a small fee after that. So you can always knit the blanket even if you're coming to these videos after we've ended the knit along. So block 10. And block 10 is our October block. And in October, I'm very, very pumpkin obsessed, and that means roasting pumpkin seeds and going to the pumpkin patch and all those autumn fall things. And I also love to eat like sunflower seeds and things like that. So, and I'm very obsessed, as we'll see in a little bit later in this episode, with baskets too. So where am I going with this, right? So for October, I went with a baskets of seed theme. So we have, let me make sure I have this the right side showing and up. Let's show this one first, actually. Okay, here we go. Here is the block. This is called Baskets of Seed. It's block 10 for October. There you can see the little, so why is it called Baskets of Seed? So we've got a basket weave stitch going on here in terms of the different panels, so it looks like a little bit of a woven. And then we've got on some of the little panels and some of the little rectangles, rather, we have seed stitch. So that's why it's called Baskets of Seed. So like with all of our blocks in this blanket, you start off with garter stitch down here. You have garter stitch on each side. You start off with a certain number of stitches and then increase or decrease on the last row of the garter, just like I tell you to in the pattern. And then from there, you're going to set yourself up in these little rows. So you end up doing so many in stockinette here, and then seed stitch, stockinette, seed stitch. And then after so many rows, you reverse that, where you have stockinette and then, seed stitch, and then reverse stockinette. So it's a little bit different than some of the basket weave patterns that you might have seen in the past. Usually, you'll just have stockinette, seed, and then, stockinette, and then seed, stockinette, blah, blah, blah. But in this case, we actually have some reverse stockinette going on. So for that reason, in the pattern, there are some notes about where you might have more stitches that are knit or more stitches that are purl than just your normal number of stitches that make up one of your little rectangles, because maybe it's running into the rectangle next to it, where the first stitch of that next rectangle is also a knit or also a purl or something like that. So if you desire, you can put stitch markers in between all of the little rectangles, but if you once you get going, I think you might find that you don't want that. But if you're a beginner, that might make it easier too. So, but just keep in mind, if you do put in stitch markers between all of those, that if the pattern says knit 6, for example, you might have 5 that are in one and then 1 that's after the stitch marker. And I'm not looking at the pattern, so I'm not giving exact counts necessarily for this pattern, but just wanted to note that for you. And you do so many rows, and then you switch, and so many rows, and then you switch back. So it's really kind of, I think it's a 12 row repeat. So you repeat those 12 rows until you're at a little bit below your desired depth, and then you decrease or increase, I think, back down or up, and do your top garter stitch, and then you do your bind off. So this is shown in Berroco Vintage in the worsted weight in the mushroom colorway. A special thanks to Berroco for supporting our year-long knit-along. I really appreciate that they sent me yarn for my Afghan for designing. And then I'm making a second one out of leftover stash yarns using various things, but this one is out of Dream in Color Classy in the Lipstick Lava colorway. So here you can see it. And this block has a lot of texture to it, so it actually has some lift. It almost looks a little bit three-dimensional, sort of, but it definitely has like that woven aspect to it, gives it that lift. So, if you have any questions, let me know. We do have a thread on the Brownie Knits group in Ravelry for the block blanket, so you can join us there. And, you know, I never mentioned this before, but you could also, you know, if there's one particular block you really like a lot, you can download that block and make it as a dishcloth. That'd be kind of a larger dishcloth if you used worsted, but you could use, you know, a DK or a thinner weight. Or you could leave it out of a worsted and maybe use like a cotton and do it as like a washcloth. I think especially for like block 2 is a really pretty petal motif. I think that would be really pretty if you put that with like a little soap or something to do as like a Christmas gift. So there's some different ideas too in case you don't want to commit to the block blanket because it's later in the year. You could still participate if you wanted to that way. So, all right, so I hope you guys are enjoying the blanket. I've had so much fun with it this year. I cannot believe that after this we only have 2 more blocks to go. Yeah, so that's exciting. And I will be doing at some time within those 2 months, I'll be doing some blocking demonstration videos and some seaming demonstration videos that I'll put up on the Brownie Knits YouTube channel. So, all right, that's that. What next? Okay, that's one knit along that we have going on in our group. A second knit along that I have going on is in collaboration with Christina Wall of A Knitter's Life. And that knit along is the Sabrina Cowl, K-A-L. And it is to support my Sabrina Beret pattern and her Sabrina Cowl pattern. We designed those together, and the patterns were released on October 1st, and the knit along started October 1st, and it goes through November 30th. So it's definitely not too late to join that, and you can join in by participating on both boards, both the Brownie Knits Ravelry board and the A Knitter's Life Ravelry board. It doesn't matter if you're only making the cowl, which is Christina's pattern, you can still participate on my board and vice versa. Here, I'll show you the hat and cowl. So here is the beret. It doesn't really go in color-wise with my outfit today. But there you can see the beret. It is a cabled beret. It's 100% written and 100% charted, so you can work from whatever you're comfortable with. And the same for the cowl pattern. And this is Christina's pattern, and you can see it's just really cute. So it has some cabling here, and then it has, they're not actually traveling stitches, which makes it nice. It's like a little honeycomb pattern almost. So, and you can register to win a giveaway from Christina's group and a giveaway from my group by posting a picture of your unfinished project with like a tea, a coffee, whatever you like to drink, with a knitting friend or with your knitting circle. And you can also post finished objects with those 3 things too. So you can register 6 different ways on both boards, so 12 times total. In my giveaway package, you will get a skein of Anzula for better or worsted out of this lovely Nimbus colorway, and I promise I will make this beautiful into a hank. It got untangled, it got undone in my knitting basket. It's not actually tangled because it's still skeined, it just isn't hanked up. So it's beautiful. You'll get a skein of that. You will also get a little thing of eucalyptus and a cable needle. I accidentally left those at Christina's house, so I'll have to get those from her. You'll get this little Parisian themed bag that I made. It's a little drawstring bag. Isn't it cute? And since I posted the last episode with Christina in our crossover episode, which if you want to join the Sabrina Cowl, that's a great episode. Episode 26 is a great one to watch to get some tips and tricks. And then since then, I've added a few things to the giveaway. I added this book called Little Pretty Things. This was written by someone that my husband and his college pals went to school with, and she's had quite a bit of success as a writer now, and I got to meet her in person not too long ago. She had a local book signing here. She lives in Chicago and came down, and she was actually on the panel with a good friend of ours who's also an author that lives in the area. And I told her that this would be going to a knitter, so she signed it for us, and so you can register to win that as well by participating in the knit along. And if you don't win, it's a great book to check out. And the final thing that I've added to that giveaway package, which will be drawn for at the beginning of December, so right after the knit along closes, I have these little knit cards. So for example, this one tells you how to figure out if you're going to do a long tail cast on, how many to pull out, the yarn label guide, an increase card, so it tells you how to do a make one, how to do a lifted bar increase, those kinds of things, a little inventory card for your needles, how to do a buttonhole, a Kitchener stitch, always handy to have that, how to make something fit, so you can do, it takes you through like sizing estimates so that you can adjust things. A yarn classification guide, which is really great if you're a new knitter, especially to have that, because I remember how confusing that felt to me when I was first learning all of that. Some common knitting abbreviations and how to work them, a decrease card to go along with the increased card, a yardage estimator, and how to measure perfect gauge swatch, and another yarn yardage estimator. So you'll get that little set of handy dandy useful cards as well, and that's on out of my group. So make sure you register. Yeah, I think that's all I'm going to say about that, other than to say as part of the knit along, I'm going to tell you the truth. Today is actually the cast on day for the knit along that I'm recording, because I mentioned that I'm recording about a week early. So I am going to be casting on in this red shoe to make a Sabrina Cowl to match a Sabrina Beret that I made as part of the test process when we did the patterns. And then I'm going to have another giveaway that will be drawn for in December that any of you can register for, but I don't have all the details quite worked out yet. But I am going to be making a Sabrina Beret as to give away, like a finished beret to give away to someone. and I'm going to be doing a giveaway in collaboration with my sister-in-law. So that will be kind of interesting and fun. So I'll have more details on that for you in a future episode. Okay, so let's get to crafterly things. What are some fun stuff? Okay, since I talked to you guys last, not including the crossover episode, but since episode 25, Christina and I actually went over to Yellow Springs, Ohio, and met up with our good friend Carol. Hi, Carol. And went to the wool gathering. So that's become a little annual tradition for us, which is kind of fun because we don't get together all that often, especially the three of us. Carol lives in Cincinnati, so planning for our three schedules can be a little bit of a challenge, but it's become a little bit of a tradition for us. And this time, Carol's husband came along with her, and my husband came along with me, and kind of chauffeured Christina and I over, and so they got to hang out too. So that was fun for them to get to hang out. So I bought a few things, and I kind of shocked myself with what I bought, to be truthful. Okay, here we go. So I mentioned earlier that I can be a little bit basket obsessed. And last year when we went to the wool gathering, I bought one of the beautiful baskets from, I think it's Ghana. It's a fair trade basket. And I use it every day. And here it is. It's a big one. I've used it every day since I bought it. My journal, my headphones, and then all my active projects live in that next to me. So if I'm in the bedroom, it sits next to the bed. If I'm going downstairs, it sits next to my chair downstairs. So this year I got a little one to just keep like one project in. Now, I saw this photo online of a Madagascar owl that somebody posted on Facebook. And it was gorgeous. It was this brilliant red, and his eyes were this amazing turquoisey blue color. And I was showing it to the ladies that day and saying I have to find an independent yarn dyer who will dye up a skein of yarn for me that matches this photo. And then I found this little basket, and it just reminded me so much of that photo. So I picked it up to have next to me. With like a little project in it. So that was one thing that I got. Okay, so then I totally surprised myself, and I bought a Turkish spindle. So I bought this little guy. Isn't he cute? He's just so little and petite. And I'll put the information in the show notes for the company who I purchased the spindle from. Now, I have tried a spindle one other time, and it was a disaster, and I hated it. So that's why I never thought I would try it again. And then I saw the Turkish spindles on some of the podcasters, and I just thought, oh my goodness, they're so adorable. I wonder if I could, and then, I just see all the beautiful roving. And so I thought I would give it a shot. Now, the caveat is that with all my other crafting and stuff, I decided I'm only ever going to get the one spindle, and I'm only buying, I let myself buy 2 things of fiber. I'm not buying any more, don't want any for gifts or anything. That's what I'm just going to keep myself to. When that's spun up, then I'll buy another little bat of fiber. So I've gone online and looked at a few videos. I'm not gonna lie, it's a little bit hard to learn on one this small just because there's not much weight to it. So that's challenging. But with that said, I did do a little bitty thing of fiber, and this was not the best thing for me to start off with because it has a lot of alpaca in it, so it's super fuzzy. And one of the other reasons that I won't expand how much I spin beyond this is every time I've picked up the fiber to spin, my throat starts hurting so bad, and I actually ended up having to go to bed from it twice because it just like made me feel so bad. So, but it is a beautiful bat. It's gorgeous. And it has the same lovely like red and turquoisey blue in it that was in the basket that was also in the owl photo. So you could definitely tell where my head was at that day. So I got this one, and I watched a few videos and did a little bit of spinning on that. And then I also purchased this one from Malabrigo. I think this, even though it's merino and the fibers will be shorter because it is merino, I also think it might be easier for me to spin without getting having throat problems, just because it's not as fibery as the alpaca. So isn't it gorgeous? This one is the Archangel colorway, which I've used that colorway in their yarn before, and it's gorgeous. So I let myself get the little basket, the spindle, and a couple of things of roving, and that was what I got that day. So yeah, it was fun. We had a really good time hanging out with each other, and yeah, so we'll see where spinning takes me. We'll see. Next up, I have a few sewing things that I did. I forgot to show this last time. I had it done already and just forgot to show it. One of the things that I like about sewing is that immediate gratification that you can get. And so early on, one of the things I made just, to get to know my sewing machine more were some pillowcases, and I found a little tutorial for a 1-yard pillowcase, and so I made those for our bed. And then I was thinking about what can I make for my nephew who is 6, and he's a little past he's 6.5. He's a little past like the stuffed animal phase. So I wanted to come up with something that I could make for him to send him when I send his sister a little patch pumpkin that I made. So I found this soccer fabric because he's obsessed with soccer, and made this little pillowcase for him. And it's super easy to do. You just like fold it, do a seam, and then fold these under and do a seam up there, like a hem seam. So I thought I'd show that in case anybody out there is, starting out in sewing and they're looking for something to do. I think that would be really cute too if you had made them something else. You could make them a little pillowcase and then like wrap the gift in the pillowcase with like a pretty bow or something. I think would be really cute. And then I was in our fabric shop, and my husband is one of the Star Wars obsessed people, and we all know that the newest movie's coming out soon. And they had this fabric. They had the dark side fabric in this shop. And so I got fabric to make him a pillowcase, and then probably something else. I have enough fabric that I bought. I purchased this one at Hancock Fabric. I'm sure you can find it at other fabric shops. And then, used a coupon because those licensed ones are a little bit more expensive, right? And then I sewed a few bags. I've sold so many bags on my Etsy store. I really appreciate you guys supporting me and buying some of my drawstring bags. As of this moment, this bag is still available. This is one of the newer ones that I sewed. The other newer ones that I sewed that I was going to show you on this episode sold out. So, but this little monster one I thought was super cute, very appropriate for Halloween season, but also doesn't scream Halloween, so you could use it beyond too. And I love the little red daisies on it. So that one's pretty cute. And these are sock size bags, and they would be good for socks, a hat, a cowl, a small shawlette, baby items, things like that. This one's still available, the little foxy guy. There you go. And so is the Christmas one. People just aren't quite there to Christmas yet, and I don't blame you one bit. So this one's available too. And they're $15. They're available in the BrownieKnits.etsy.com shop. And then I'll just be adding as I find time to sew. I'll add more bags. And if you haven't followed me on Instagram already, I'm Brownie Knits on Instagram, and I usually post pictures there too when I'm uploading bags to the site for sale. So, and they are lined. I've seen other bags, drawstring bags like this that aren't lined. These are lined. And usually with the coordinating fabric that's on the outside. Okay. And then I sewed one for myself. And I have a question for you guys actually about this. So how common is it for a pattern that to be printed crooked? You know? So I wanted to make this project bag for myself for Halloween, and I bought this coordinated like candy corn fabric, but the polka dots are printed crooked. Drove me nuts. So, you know, I fudged it a tad so they didn't look as crooked, but they're still crooked. You can see like up here, like you could get more, you know, and less as you go along. How common is that? And like, what do you do to make sure that you notice that in the shop before you purchase it? Yeah, that made me really mad. But anyway, so I made this one. I adjusted the size to make it more of like a sweater size bag. And I thought it was cute with the owls on it. So inside of it is my Maisie sweater. And it's progressing. I need it to progress a little bit faster because I really want to take it and wear at Rhinebeck. But I don't know if that's going to happen. So I finished up the body. That color is off again. That happened last time I showed this in the video. It's out of Malabrigo's Mechita, which is their fingering weight, and the color is teal feather. So I finished up the body, and then you do this lace panel at the bottom. I really wish those colors would show on here accurately, but it won't. And then you go back and you do the back to match the length, and then you do a hem, and you put some pockets in, and you do a neckline, and the sleeves. So, and the sleeves will have the same lace motif go all the way down the sleeves. So I still have a fair bit of knitting to go on it. I'm thinking that I might have to like pack our iron and take it with me to steam block this sweater because it might be like a last minute finish. Of course, it could be 80 degrees and I won't be wearing a sweater anyway. But we'll see. We'll see. I initially started it thinking I would make it for Thanksgiving. But then it went faster than I anticipated. So that's a great problem, right? And it's been lovely to knit. The pattern's so well done. I love the ingenuity in the lace pocket area and how she goes about having you do that section. It was really, really interesting. And yeah, so I'll be working on this one a lot in the next few days. So I finished that bag, and then that's a in progress. And I forgot my other finished item, my other finished knitted item. Oops, what is that? This one's a hat for my nephew Jack. This is my Raleigh Brin pattern that's in my Ravelry shop. It comes in two sizes, a child and an adult, and it's for the guys, although the girls can wear it as well. But I made this one for my nephew Jack. His dad teaches at Alabama, so he needs a little hat to wear when it gets cool down there. So this will go with him, to him with his soccer pillowcase. So, and then my only other work in progress is living in my little Doctor Who bag that my friend and I both used as Doctor Who was premiering. So that was fun. I'm making socks for my husband, and I'm using Socks That Rock, and they're lightweight, and the color is Rocky Horror. And I'm making them cuff down, and I used the Fish Lips Kiss heel, and then just kind of a standard toe. And it did like this crazy like patterning thing, which is kind of cool and appropriate for Rocky Horror, Halloween, and you know, fall. I thought it was kind of cool. Christina described it, I was working on it in the car on the way to the wool gathering, and she described it as burnt pumpkin, which I thought was perfect too. So I have one sock done, and the other one is past the heel, and so I'm on to the body, so to speak, of the sock. So hopefully, I really would like to get both of this project and the sweater done before I leave for a vacation, so that all my vacation knitting is new cast on, because we all know that, you know, that excitement. And I thought, how fun would that be to have everything be a new cast on when I'm on vacation? Which means, and we're driving, so like I can take, you know, a suitcase of projects or whatever. I won't, but I could take that much. So, oh, and I use, I do the magic loop method for the socks that I knit. And this is my, I think, one and only pair of Carbons needles, and it's a US 1, and I really love them for sock knitting. So I usually only have one pair of socks on the needles at a time, because I like to just use these. Plus it makes sure I don't have second sock syndrome. So yeah. All right, I think that's everything. I hope that you guys found something in here that you enjoyed. And oh, there was one other thing actually. I will be at Rhinebeck. So if any of you are going to be at Rhinebeck on that Saturday and Sunday, hopefully you'd recognize me. I don't know though, it's hard to see. Like, it's, you know, you're always like, is that the person or not? Like, I don't know, at least I am. And I'm kind of shy in person too. So if you recognize me and you want to say hi, I'd love to meet you. Come up and introduce yourself. And I have a little like Brownie Knits button that I'll like try to remember to put on my bag or something. Although I'll have to force myself to do that, because I'm pretty shy about that too. So, but yeah, if you guys are there, I would love to meet you guys in person and say hi. So anyway, I hope you found something that was enjoyable. I'd love to hear what you guys are up to. I opened up a thread on the Ravelry group board for this episode, so feel free to post there and chat away. So, all right, until next time, happy knitting and crocheting. Bye-bye.